Okay, so today we have Autumn Thomas joining us from Concord University. So thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
So to get started, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you came to be interested in behavioral health and your current field of study?
Um, so I am in the MSW program here at Concord. I just graduated last May in the BSW program. For the last few years, I've decided I wanted to work at the VA and work in that type of setting, like a hospital more setting. I know a lady back home because I'm originally from Tennessee that works at the VA, and I've gotten like a good insight on like how are things like working and stuff like that. So that's my main reason on choosing like this profession.
Okay, great. Um, so I'm curious to know, sometimes there's a stigma, and maybe you've experienced this, or maybe you've talked to somebody who has, but sometimes there's a stigma surrounding the field of behavioral health, of the profession, whatever it may be. So what is your response to that and why, and just all of your experience?
I think there's a big stigma with like the behavioral health, like mental illness, because people think, oh, if someone is like mentally impaired, they have certain issues or they're crazy or something like when there's a wide range of like mental illnesses that like really don't like they affect a lot of people, but it doesn't make that person like worse off than the next person. So I think that's the main issue. I think everyone thinks, oh, if someone thinks I'm mentally impaired, they're gonna put me in some hospital or something like that. There's like a bad vibe, I guess you could say, when people talk about mental illness.
Hmm. And do you think that's maybe because, just lack of knowledge? I guess when we hear mental illness, we think of something very extreme, when in reality it could be, very treatable depression or anxiety or something like that. And maybe society automatically goes to, a very severe case.
Yeah, if people weren't educated on the topic, I think they would like stay away from like saying mentally ill people are like, incapable of learning certain things or something like that. Like, because as long as someone's educated on the topic, they would know like not everything is bad just because it sounds bad.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. So to kind of go along with that, could you maybe identify and talk about some barriers and challenges that you have faced already or that you may face in the future regarding reducing stigma?
Um, I think since it's a touchy topic, not many people are gonna want to talk about it. And I think that's gonna be the biggest barrier for people to get over is like willing to like educate themselves on mental illness.
Okay. So now how would you as a professional address that specific barrier?
I think personally, you can like hold workshops and like presentations and like, give examples and like the positive aspects of certain things so people can get like, the good side of everything before they make their final decision on how they feel about mental illness and that sort of thing.
Okay. So just really offering, you know, facts and insight that you've
Mhm.
learned through your education and everything like that. Okay, great. Um, so what is the atmosphere like? You're currently interning. So
Yes,
what
ma'am.
is the atmosphere like pre-COVID versus during COVID?
Well, last spring, I did my undergrad field placement. And so majority of it, well, I guess you could say half of it was pre-COVID. So I got to do like go into homes and that type of like because I did it with birth to three, so I got to work with different types of disabilities and stuff like that. So it was good, but then at when COVID hit last March, that kind of put a damper on things. I didn't do home visits, nothing. Everything was canceled. Everything was via like Zoom or like over the phone and stuff like that. So I think that put a setback on certain things, and that is making a lot of issues. Like it's a lot of issues for people. And then this year, since I'm doing my field placement for my MSW program here at the counseling center on campus, I think even with COVID, it's still been okay because we can still have our sessions. And if people feel uncomfortable, we can have it on Zoom. But I mean, right now, I think everyone's trying to figure out how to work around COVID, but I think we're managing it very well for the time being.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully things will get back to some sort of normal in the future, but do you feel like obviously, COVID has produced barriers for providing services and that type of thing, but do you feel that there are maybe some pros to being able to offer more telehealth services? And like you said, sometimes people are uncomfortable, so something like this is more comfortable if they are receiving services. So do you feel like even though there's some bad, there's some good with it as well?
Oh, of course, because like some people don't like, in-person conversations. So like doing it on Zoom at their own like comfort of their living room or kitchen or whatever it may be, it will get them to open up more. So not to say COVID is a good thing, but it definitely has like brought a lot of more people out, like, getting the help that they need. And so like it's in the meantime keeping them safe also, like from, everything else that's going on.
Yeah, yeah. So it's definitely provided more opportunity to some
Hmm.
people who may not have,
Yeah.
sought those
That
services
seemed
before.
that seemed like socially distant like before COVID hit. So
Hmm.
I think this gave them the opportunity to like, go out and speak to someone since it was like telehealth communication is very big now because of COVID.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, great. So one last thing, as it relates to your profession, so once you're graduated and you're heading out into the field, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I want to see myself working at a VA because that has been my goal for a while. Um, that's what I plan to do. I plan to maybe start off working with like being a family intervention specialist, working like in that type of setting, and then getting some experience so I can work up to like the hospital setting. So 5 years, I should be well into my VA career.
Great. Yeah, and things change year by year, so I'm sure,
Hmm.
with experience and everything like that, you are well on your way. So, all right, Autumn. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. And we look forward to hearing about all the great things you're going to do for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.